as you just heard, my name is Ari, and for a very long time, and I mean a very long time, success felt impossible for somebody like me, right? So I was expelled from school. I've been fired from 5 jobs. And if I'm being honest with you, the early chapters of my life just looked a little bit bleak. It's just bleak, okay? So, in fact, when I was 3 years old, this was me. I love that because I actually put that photo up there so a whole room of people would be like, oh, how good is external validation? Right? But anyway, about the time that this photo was taken, I was kicked out of ballet for being too disruptive, right? Imagine kicking that face out. Then, by 10 years old, looking a bit more like a demon child and a bit less like an angelic child, you can see it in my eyes. But by 10 years old, I was in trouble all of the time. At school, I couldn't sit still. I would talk to anyone that would listen to me, which inevitably led to school reports that look something like this. So I won't bore you to tears reading all of them, but the first one says, if I could bottle Ari's enthusiasm and filter out the impatience and poor attitude, we'd have a real star. Unfortunately, that's not something I think I can do. Ouch, right? So inevitably, as you may have guessed, given the context of where we all are, that led to an ADHD assessment. And when I went to that ADHD assessment, unfortunately, the doctor shared 7 words that almost destroyed my life. And these 7 words led to abusive relationships, they led to homelessness, they led to those firings. And honestly, if it hadn't have gone the way it did with these 7 words, it would have been a very different experience for me. And those 7 words were this: Ari is too intelligent to have ADHD. We're all smart here, what are you talking about? So, yeah, obviously, as we can tell from everyone's reaction, we are going back over 20 years, and at the time, obviously there's still misinformation around ADHD, but back then it was a lot worse, and they thought the correlation was there. So this meant that the narrative became, well, you must be choosing to behave this way. So I was labeled the problem child, and that was that, right? Which meant, when I did get diagnosed as an adult, while it was nice to have an explanation, still didn't really give me much hope for the future. Because by then, you know, self-esteem was just in the absolute gutter. So, the words like wasting potential and never amount to anything and can't complete projects, can't stay on task would just circle around in my head even with my diagnosis. So I still didn't have any sort of, you know, like hope. There was still no hope. And then I found entrepreneurship, and it absolutely changed my life. Woo! So, I started a company called Handle. Won't bore you with that one either, but it was basically like an ethical food delivery platform. If you imagine Uber Eats, but better. That's what that was. And my ADHD brain just absolutely thrived. I finally found this place where having ADHD was a huge advantage. And we had everything we needed in place. I had a partner, we built the app, we had the restaurants, we were good to go. I was wearing a ridiculous yellow helmet. We were ready. All we really needed was a cool $100,000 investment, right? So I went to pitch it, and I faced a lot of rejection, and that was a fun learning curve for me about how to handle that. But eventually, one day, the phone rang, and an investor was in. We got $100,000, right? Woo! Let me tell you, calling my mum and being like, guess he's not a failure anymore. Until 2 weeks later when the phone rang again and that investor pulled out. To be fair, she had been diagnosed with cancer. She's okay now, so that's really good news. But it just really wasn't gonna work. Health is always the priority, right? But it did mean we needed another $100,000. So I joined Clubhouse. None of you know what Clubhouse is, but that's okay. So basically, it's like a behave. So Clubhouse is, imagine podcasting, but like a live audience who can ask you questions. And it was full of all these entrepreneurs and investors, and I was like, well, I need $100,000, so that's where I need to be. So on the stage I was in there, pitching my business, someone noticed that in my profile, it said I had ADHD, right? And then in this room of all of these really successful entrepreneurs and investors, about 80% of them started sharing their own ADHD diagnosis. Crazy, right? So up until this point, I thought it was just my ADHD brain that was thriving in this environment. As it turned out, it was a shitload of ADHD brains that were thriving in this environment. So that was it. I was obsessed, and I hyper-focused on it. I started a room on Clubhouse, press back, not forward. I started a room on Clubhouse, and every day for a year, I spoke to thousands of ADHD entrepreneurs from day one all the way up to multi-million dollars. And I read everything I could about this connection. And in that time, I learned 3 key things. The first one is that people with ADHD are 300% more likely to start a business than people who don't have ADHD. The second one is that how to harness your ADHD to be successful as an entrepreneur. And the final one, of course, as was the case for me, is that entrepreneurship really is a lifeline for ADHD brains in a system very much not designed for us to thrive. Can I actually just grab my water from out the back, Gary? It's in the cup, I forgot it. Thank you. And that was the start of my mission to build 100,000 ADHD-owned businesses. So much of that validation. I want to stay here forever. So now, fast forward, and I've got over 80,000 followers on Instagram. I'm invited to speak on stage all over the world with some really cool people. And so far, I have built 350 businesses for people with ADHD. So, today, oh, how good is water? All right. So today, I'm going to share with you the 3 things that I have learned about building a business when you have ADHD. So if that's something you want to do, you can do it 10 times quicker than I did. Does that sound good? Nice. All right, cool. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to find the right idea for a business. So this is a business that works with your ADHD, so you want to start with those foundations. Then I'm going to give you an ADHD-aligned business model, so you can build that business idea in a way that works with your ADHD brain. And finally, I'm going to give you a step-by-step framework to build that business model without overwhelm and without burnout. And I'm going to do that all in 16 minutes and 12 seconds. So if anybody wants to record, because I'm going to have to talk real quick, feel free. I won't be offended. Like, record it, do audio, whatever you need to. That is okay. So let's start with the right business idea of your ADHD brain. And we can skip past this one because there's one capital letter missing, and I hate that fact. Awesome. Okay, so raise your hand for me if you've ever had an idea for a business. Any idea at all? Yeah, I thought so, right? Now, keep them up, keep them up, keep them up, keep them up. Put it down if you've ever had an idea for a business, but it never made a sale because you got bored or you got over it or you just changed your mind. Yeah, I thought so. Now, the good news is that isn't your fault. The chances are that the dopamine trap is to blame, okay? So, let me explain that to you. So essentially, a business has 2 components, and that's it. The first one is delivery. That's really simple. That's just providing the thing that you sell. It's just doing it, giving it, selling it, right? The second is acquisition. That is getting people to buy what you sell, right? That's the 2 core components. Now, if you have ADHD, we love the delivery. We love it. Well, I'm so good at this, I can't wait to do it all the time. But we really hate acquisition. We're like, oh, public, fear of judgment, content creation. People will judge me. We're not a fan, right? So, the dopamine trap is best explained with the ADHD entrepreneurs map, but I needed you to know that first. So essentially, you can see here that you start with your business idea. Now this map goes all the way along to the end of that successful and sustainable business where you're super fucking rich, right? That's what we want. We're going from there to there, all right? Now, from business idea, can I go back? We're on a timer. Okay, I'll go back. Quickly. You done? All right. High pressure situation, ADHD brain thriving. We're okay. All right, so In the first stage, that's the build stage, business idea to business launch, that's the ADHD happy zone, right? We're thriving. Interest-based nervous system is kicked in. We love it. We're passionate about it. It's novel. It's interesting. The hyper-focus is there. We have a delusional sense of self-confidence that this is 100% going to go fine, right? Yeah. That dopamine is through the roof. Then we launch the business and the reality of what we've just done sets in, right? Now, for any entrepreneur, a knowledge and skill gaps start to kind of emerge, right? Then entrepreneurs build systems, they go through the map. But if you have ADHD, we have unique ADHD challenges that amplify the feelings of those knowledge and skill gaps. Things like emotional dysregulation, so we feel things more intensely than others. Things like that interest-based nervous system now become a disadvantage because we're not as interested anymore because who wants to do emails, right? It's a problem. And of course, you're making me laugh. I'm trying to focus. All right, so, and of course, stop it. All right. And then, of course, executive dysfunction, right? Planning, organizing, all of the stress. Now, that takes that dopamine right down to the floor, no motivation, and that is a dopamine trap. Because what happens is we get overwhelmed, and our subconscious goes, God, I miss my dopamine. Remember when I had that? And we're like, I know what I'll do. I'll do something else. I'll start a new idea, right? And we go round and round and round and round. And that is why, if that's happened to you, it's not your fault, okay? It's a dopamine problem. It's never a you problem. So, how do we fix that? We start with the right idea, an ADHD-aligned idea. And to do that, we use the 5P system. Now, the first P in the 5P system, they all start with P, in case that wasn't obvious, is problem. We find a problem to solve, okay? We find a problem and we build a solution. So, as an example, who uses Uber? Use Uber? Or actually, you guys will use Lyft. I learned that now. Awkward. Oh well. All right, who's used Uber? Past tense. Awesome. So, the problem that Uber solved is that taxis needed pre-booking, long wait times, and you could only pay in cash. So they made that a lot more convenient, right? Netflix, renting movies is inconvenient, and it leads to late fees. Fun fact about Netflix, actually, I can't prove that the founder of Netflix had ADHD, but he did start the business because he had too many late fees. So, now, IKEA. People want stylish furniture, but it's inaccessible and it is unaffordable. Fun fact, again, the founder of IKEA did have ADHD, and you can tell. He's literally making you build the furniture yourself. That looked like pause for laughter, but I'm so dehydrated. Okay, cool. So we've got your problem. You know the problem you're going to solve. Now, proficiency. Can you actually solve that problem? Do you have the knowledge and skills? Because with ADHD, we're like, yeah, I can definitely solve that problem. And I'm like, yeah, but can you right now, or you're going to have to go and get a bunch of additional skills? You want to solve a problem you are qualified to solve, okay? So use what you have to solve that problem. Then passion, right? Do not do drop shipping. You're not passionate about it, okay? No, I've heard it before. None of you are. I know you're not, all right? Passion. Do something that lights you up inside, that triggers that interest-based nervous system, something that is enjoyable for the days where running a business is not that enjoyable, right? Something that keeps that flame alive. Align it with the good motivators in your interest-based nervous system, right? So passion and challenge. Challenge is going to happen. You're building a business. Don't worry about it. It's inbuilt, right? But we want to stay out of novelty, and we want to stay out of urgency, because urgency is going to give you loads of stress, right? So passion and challenge. Next up, purpose. Again, align it with something you give a shit about, something you care about. Find something bigger than yourself, a mission, a why, a community, something to serve. So on those days where it is hard, it is bigger than you, and you want to make a difference, because we love that. Don't we love justice? Yeah. Right? And finally, profit. Weird thing about profit and building a business with ADHD, we kind of just forget that that's what it's for. You know what I mean? We're like, oh yeah, got to make some money. So make sure that that one's in there. And the way you do that is really hard. Really, really hard. It's really difficult. You have to just go ask people if they'll buy it. Hey, I have an idea. Would you pay for this? Simple, all right? So that's how you make sure that you have a business idea that will work for your ADHD brain. Now, 9 minutes to go. Okay, so let's talk about the ADHD-aligned business model. So there are two types of entrepreneurs, I've decided. One of them... Can we stop? I'm on a timer. We can't go this far. All right. So one of them is the global empire builder. That's your CEO. That's your want to be a billionaire. Really cool. Not for me. Not for me. I don't want that. I'm like the freedom seeker type of entrepreneur, right? I want to just get out of the system. I know that the system's not designed for me. I know it doesn't work. I want my autonomy, right? I want to be free from that. I want to make my own decisions. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. All right? So if that's you, this is the business model for you. If it's not, talk to a few of my friends, they'll help you out. All right, and the good news is there has literally never been a better time to build a business if you have ADHD, because you only need three things. The first one is access to the knowledge to do so. The second is digital leverage, tools, platforms, so on. And third is unlimited opportunity. And the internet is going to give you all three for free. All three for free. Struggle with THs, it's an English problem. All right, cool. But you do need to build it in a way that works with your ADHD brain. So this model is simple, and it is freedom-centered, and it is highly profitable. It doesn't require a team. You can build it on your own, no salary responsibility. So you don't have to worry about putting a roof over somebody else's head, because that is a lot of pressure, all right? It's built in like adaptable compartments, hence modular, to keep it nice and simple. But most importantly, it is designed specifically for ADHD entrepreneurs. I know that because I designed it. If you don't have ADHD, can't help you. Sorry, but you all do. Yay. All right, so the solo modular business model. It's a 3-stage model, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build skills. We do need a couple of skills at the beginning to get this thing rolling, right? Now, in this stage, you're going to have to work more and earn less because you're putting time into building the skills. But I promise you it'll be worth it. I seem quite trustworthy? Yeah? Yeah. I promise you it'll be worth it. All right, cool. Then we're going to create systems. This is where you're going to start to work the same amount, but you're going to earn money. Yeah! Right? And then finally, in stage 3, we're going to productize and we're going to outsource, not to a team, though, but we'll get to that. But, and we're going to work less and earn more. Woo! Dreams can come true. All right, cool. So let's talk about building skills. So in stage 1, 2 things. Audience building, that's your social media audience. Don't be frightened though, it's okay. I promise, it's okay, we can do this. Skill number 1, you need to learn how to create content, right? Static content and video content, right? And I know that's daunting, but I believe in you, all right? That's the key thing to remember. Now the second one is copywriting and design principles, right? So that is just marketing through writing. So storytelling, how to sell with writing, and then how to make things not look shit, right? So just design things nice. Now, monetization, offer creation. Put your hand up if you've ever used Google Maps. Awesome. That means you can create an offer that will sell, okay? So we start with problem. We've already done that. Whew, one step ahead, right? Find a problem to solve. That's where they are now on Google Maps. That's your location right now, okay? Then the consequence. This is important. This is how people experience having the problem that you solve. So let's say you have the flu, okay? Like you have a cold. You are sick as a dog. Do you say that in America? Don't answer, we don't have time. All right, so you're sick as a dog. If you just had the flu, but you didn't have any symptoms, the flu wouldn't bother you. Does that make sense? So the consequence of the problem is what is important because it is how people understand the problem that you solve, okay? Now, the solution, this is what you build to solve the problem. That's the map. That takes them from where they are now to where they want to be, all right? Awesome. Now, I suggest you do this high ticket. So you make something so good that you can sell it for $2,500. You get only 500 followers. 1% of them buy from you, and you make $10,000. What? Oh, that was crazy what happened to me, I'll tell you that for free. All right, cool. Then you have the result. So that's where they want to be, okay? So that is the change that they experience from your solution that you just made $10,000 off, right? And finally, the expectation. And that is how they know when that result has been achieved. People love to measure stuff. They're like, yeah, you said it, but prove it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try my best. So, stage 2, creating systems, right? So we've got this offer, we've made our first few sales. Now we want to reduce our workload. So how do we do this? We document the process. Sounds boring, don't worry, I've made it easy. And we then use digital leverage. 4-step framework, systemization. 1, identify your repetitive tasks. 2, break those tasks into steps. 3, outsource those steps to tools and platforms. And 4, document the process so that you can just read it off one by one, right? Then we move into productize and outsource. Don't want you to worry about this too much yet, but it's important to know. Here, you're gonna turn the offer that you created into something that doesn't involve you. Then you're gonna sell it, then you don't have to do anything, and then you make some money, right? And then you're gonna outsource the rest of those tasks from your systems to freelancers. So you're not responsible for their salary, but you do still pay them, right? Cool, we love that. Now, 3 minutes to go. That's not a lot of time. Now, how do we build your business without burnout? So this is actually one of the biggest challenges for ADHD entrepreneurs, and that is overwhelm. Fortunately, overwhelm has a formula. Overwhelm happens when you have low clarity and you have high demand, okay? Low clarity, you don't know what to do when or how to do it. High demand, a big need for your time, your skills, and your energy. So, to get rid of overwhelm, we reverse engineer it, okay? High clarity, we know what to do when and how to do it. Low demand, we reduce the need for your time and your energy and attention, right? And we do that with systems. So, here's how we're gonna do this in 2.5 minutes. And actually, 2:20. No, stay focused. All right, so these are the core components. So your offers, all right, that's what you sell. You know that now, you've got it. Your audience, that's how people discover what you sell. Lead generation, that's how you sell what you sell. Sales, that's actually selling what you sell. Don't worry, I'm gonna make this much easier to keep up with on the next slide. Retainment, you increase the value of someone you've already sold to, and systems are just processes to streamline all of the above. So, to get that high clarity and low demand, take a photo of the next slide, you don't need this one. So to get that high clarity and low demand, you take the core components of your business, which I just gave you, and you put them in the energy management framework. This is a 5-step framework that will stop you being overwhelmed when you build your business, okay? That is create, prove, improve, process, and remove, right? So, what happens here? What? Guys, we're on a timer. Stressing me out. You actually don't need this one. You can download it on the next slide, so you're okay. So, the way this works, so we look at offer, right? And we look at create. Now, we've just created your offer, right? So, yes or no to each question. Do you have an offer to sell? Yes, bang, we're on prove, right? Then we go to the next one, that's audience. So we stay in create, right? I'm saying this because I don't have enough time to make a video for the download. So we go and create. Do you have 500 followers on a social media platform? Right now, the answer is probably no. But all of your energy now is going to go into just that one step until it's done. No overwhelm. Done. Bang. Into prove. Okay? Then lead gen. And we go on and on and on until you're a millionaire. Okay? That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right? So if you do want that, just scan that QR code right there. I've also included a 6-figure checklist for you. Do it quickly. We have 26 seconds and I have one more slide. So if you want it, scan it. And if you don't get it, just come get me after. I'll just give it to you. All right, one more phone. Yeah, oh, just you, sir. Are you feeling some pressure? Yeah, okay. I will give it to you afterwards. I promise. Come and find me. Okay, cool. So, with my last 4 seconds, I am going to say to you, if you remember nothing else from this talk, apart from the fact that I was very stylish, very funny, and completely charming, I really do want you to remember that even though the world isn't designed for the ADHD mind is designed to change the world. Thank you.